Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this video I'm going to show you how to do great city light photo, Paris by night. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs. My name is Serge Ramelli, I'm a French photographer living in the beautiful city of Paris, France. And I make 2 tutorials per week. Click here if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and get them in your YouTube notification. And click here if you want to get all the RAW files from all my past episodes, including this episode's 2 RAW file. Alright, in last week's episode I showed you how to make a composition using Topaz Remask and using Topaz Simplify. Pretty cool tricks. Check it out if you are into this type of composition. This is the final result. This week we are going to go to the Place de la Victoire in Paris, a beautiful little plaza, and I wanted to really give it a Paris by night feeling. I used a little bit of Topaz at the end called Topaz Star Effect, you will see in the tutorial. I'm going to show you some really cool tricks on how to get the best of city light photography. Alright, and also I have a new release coming out. Check out the trailer at the end of this tutorial. So, let's go to Paris, Place de la Victoire. Okay, so how to shoot cities at night, city light at night. This is a photo of the Place de Victoire of Paris. Very nice little place. And I waited for the city lights to come on. Now, the best time I usually shoot city lights is about 10-15 minutes after the stone hole has lit up the city. And so that's my first advice. My second advice is, of course, you got to be on a tripod because it's going to be very dark and you want to shoot at 100 ISO. If you look at the metadata of this photo, you can see it was shot at f16, 6 seconds, and 100 ISO. Now, why did I shoot at f16? F7.1 would have been fine. The reason I shot at f16 is look at the lights. Look at the bursting lights. And this, you know, this very nice starlight that you have everywhere, you only get that if you are above f13. That is my first reason. My second reason for shooting at f16, so you get the city lights, is because it forces a long exposure, 6 seconds. Now, what happens at 6 seconds is that when you have cars passing by, they make these light streaks like this, you know. So you don't see the cars; they just make nice, light tricks. So, and the other advice I would give you, and that's a very important one, is to shoot for the highlights. Look at this photo. This photo is very dark. Why is it very dark? Because I wanted the city light. I wanted to be able to get details in the windows and in the city light. I didn't want this to be totally burned out because it just ruins the photo. So I usually underexpose half a stop or a third of a stop, whatever the metering of the average metering that the camera gives me, so that I expose to the highlights. Now, of course, it's too dark, but it's a RAW file, and the beauty of RAW file, especially this was shot, and you will see the quality of the Sony A7R. I know I'm not sponsored by Sony, and I wish I was. If anybody knows Sony, please tell them to call me. I want them to sponsor me because I'm in love with their camera. Anyways, so let's do the retouching a little bit. So, guess what? I'm going to open up the shadows. Now, a lot of people tell me, yeah, but when I open up the shadows, I get lots of noise. Well, that's because you went too much underexposed or you don't have enough recent camera. All the cameras produced in the last couple of years, which are entry DSLRs, will give you, if you have properly exposed your photo, not too much noise by opening up the shadows at 100. Now, then I'm going to bring the highlights down. Now, check it out. Highlights down to minus 100. See how I get all the details in the lamps? I can almost see each lamp's bulbs. I can see what's going on in these windows, and I just get North Star trails. That's all I get. It's pretty cool. And that you get only if you expose for the highlights. So underexpose a little bit your photo. Okay. Next, I'm going to boost the exposure because I think it's overall too dark. I'm going to add some clarity because I just love clarity. Now, in terms of the white balance, I think I'm going to make it a little bit more blue, maybe just a little tiny more, because I don't like when the buildings are too yellow. And I'm going to add a bit of tint. I'm crazy. I think tint works very well doing that. I'd give a little magenta look, it gives like an evening sunset feeling to it, which I kind of like. I think there's too much road there, so I'm going to crop the photo. But first, before cropping, I'm going to do a little bit of sharpening. Now check it out. I boost the shadows at 100 and I hardly have any noise. So what do I do? I'm just going to put the sharpening probably like around 90. And you see there's a bit of noise, so I'm going to take the noise back out by putting it like at 10. And one thing that's very important, I don't want any noise in the sky. You see how the sky is very noisy? So I'm going to do the masking. For the masking, I'm going to hold on the Alt key and just mask everything until I see a dark black sky. Okay, now that's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Maybe just add a little bit of contrast. And now I'm ready to go to the profile correction, remove chromatic aberration, and the auto lens correction. See if it can do something better. Oh my God, check it out. Auto, yes. Okay, auto did that. That's pretty cool. And let's do the cropping. Now you see it already cropped the photo a little bit. That's because I wanted something like this. I want to see a lot of skies and a little bit of the road, not so much like this. Okay. Now I'm not going to do anything on the sky yet because there's a lot of sensor dust. So I'm going to take care of that real fast. But you see, the reason I shot at this time is that I wanted to get details in the sky. But unfortunately, I had a blue sky, a very dark blue sky. Pure blue, not a single cloud there. So I am now, but please do not tell anyone I'm going to cheat and I'm going to add some clouds. A little bit, I'm going to show you a very fast way to do that. With this nice photo. Clouds that I actually took from the day before. Nice clouds, no clouds. So I'm going to right click. Hold down both of these photos. I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Open as Layers in Photoshop. And what that's going to do is that it's going to open this first photo and the second photo in Photoshop. And it's going to do something magic. And I'm going to do two things in it. I'm going to add some clouds, and I'm going to add some topaz starlight effect magic to give it even more, a Paris by night type of feeling. So first, I'm going to put the cloud layer on top. Okay, now I'm just going to make a quick selection of the sky. It's going to be very easy to select because it's very blue. So all I'm going to do is take my quick select tool, which is here. And I'm just going to make a big brush. I'm holding the Alt and Control key to make the brush bigger, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just going to paint over the sky here. Really fast, very easy to select. And then I'm going to do Refine Edge. And I'm going to do Smart Radius of 3. And it's going to detect every little antenna, everything. It's going to be perfectly. I go on OK. Now I have a mask. And what I do is I put on the sky and I turn on the mask. So then you can see that the sky is through the sky here. Now, one thing you need to do is you see there's a little chain between the texture of the sky and the mask. I want to turn that chain off, giving me the opportunity, if I press the V key for the move tool. Oops, sorry, I have to click on the photo itself. I can move the sky and it doesn't move the mask with it because we already masked. We are happy with the mask. So I'm going to press Command T, make this a little bit bigger so that it fills what we need. Now it's way too warm compared to the rest. So I'm going to go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. And you can do Camera Raw on layer now. That's one of the new things in Photoshop CC. I love that. Just going to add a little bit of blue and make this a little bit darker. Maybe add a bit of clarity in the sky, something like that. Okay. And so it's, it's a bit more subtle. It's a bit, less obvious. And then I'm going to turn down the opacity, so that it blends in better. Just a little bit of sky, before, after. Crazy, huh? It looks like the sky is really there. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to layers. I'm gonna flatten the image so it's all on. It's one layer. I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm gonna show you a little final touch that I really like. A couple of final touch actually. I'm gonna go to Filter, Topaz Lab, Star Effect, and what Star Effect is basically. It's a plugin that, I really want to give this Paris by night type of view. So first you have to choose a preset. So you've got, if you go over here real fast, you can see in the windows what it does. So candle lights, now it's way too strong by default, but you can change it. Candle lights just makes like a candle lights 2 is actually pretty cool. On this one, that's what I wanted. Candle light 1, too strong. Candle light 2, not bad. City light, let's check city light. I think city light 1 is might be a little bit too strong. It's a bit, I can see here in the preset, I don't have to wait that it processes if I just want to have an overview. And city light 2 is going to be way too strong. I'm not going to show you all the presets, but it's pretty cool. So that's city light 2. Then you got crazy stuff like a jewel sparks, you know, and basically the first order of the day is you just choose the type of sparkle that you want. Now, Jewel Sparkle is really crazy. Check that out. I'm going to go for Candlelight 2, the return of the candle lights. Okay? And already out of the box, I kind of like it. Now, if you go to star settings, one thing that's really cool is, let's say that you don't want the effect to be on this one because this one is already too much strong. Well, you have a brush here. I can just brush away the effect just on this one. Just on that star, make it, you know, I took it out just on this one. Okay, and if you want to see just the stars only, you can click on star only and you can see what it does. It just adds a little bit, you know, of glow to it because I want to get this sort of glowy Paris by night feeling to it. Okay, and now main adjustment, really important, is threshold. If you go on the right on threshold, what it's going to do is it's going to turn down the effect. If you go on the left, it's going to make it very strong and very obvious. So threshold is your first slider to go to adjust something that you want. Check it out. Now threshold like this is like, woo, it's crazy. So somewhere around 0.63, I think on this photo it works fine. I wanted something like that. And then you can go for luminance. Luminance is going to, threshold is going to decide which light it's going to go on, and luminance is going to decide the strength. Okay, and that's also why it's important to shoot for the highlights, because if I would have overexposed this photo, what happened is that I would, you know, I would burn out the hell of the lamp. I still want to get details. I just want to get a little glow over the sea light, you know. Okay, and well, you have different things like number of points and stuff like that. But I think that's pretty cool, so I'm just going to click on OK. And it's going to apply that just little glow on the Topaz star effect. Now, I made a deal with Topaz is kind of sponsoring my show, and you can get 15% off on all the Topaz product if you go to my website and you click on News and Topaz. Okay? Click here. You have to click here to get started, and then you have to use the code PhotoSurge, and you will get 15% on any of their Topaz product. So don't forget to use the code PhotoSurge. Okay, back to Photoshop. So that's before, that's with the star effect, that's after the star effect, you know. If you think it's too strong, it's on its own layer, so you can lower the opacity, but I'm just gonna lower a little bit. I just wanna give this extra glow. But believe me, it's gonna make your photo to the next level. And now we are ready for what I call the double processing. I'm gonna close this. It's gonna save this back into Photoshop, into Lightroom, I'm sorry. And I wanna give an extra thing to it. Okay, so I just want to add vibrance to start with, to make it pop even more. I want to add more contrast to make it even more, you know, night ambience. And maybe make it just a little bit brighter. And then I always like to close the photo. What I mean by close the photo is I go here and I'm going to take the exposure preset, lower the exposure, and just make a little gradient here on the sky. And a little gradient here on the bottom. It just, you know, it just sort of closes the photo, maybe even stronger on the bottom, and gets the attention of viewer into the photo. Now, that's the cool thing about double processing, is that you can do, if you want to go for an HDR look, you can just open up the shadows and bring on the highlights again and add tons of clarity, and you go for a very, very HDR look. If you want to go for more natural, you just do clarity like this, and, you know, shadows and highlights not so high. So just a little bit more shadows and a little bit more highlights, and you get a sort of a feeling to it. And you can change, let me see, I want to add maybe some more blues to it. Just a little bit so that it just falls and a little bit more magenta. Yeah, so let me show you the original photo. I'm gonna reset it. That's the original photo. It's kind of like boring, it looks dark, it's totally unusable, and that's the final result. Like crazy, crazy, crazy. Maybe it's a bit too bright. You know, but that, as always, what I usually do at this point is I go take a break, you know, and come back in an hour and look at it and see if I want to make any change. But I think this gives justice. This is a beautiful place in Paris. And, you know, I just added the sky. Maybe the sky is a bit too much. Maybe I should have make it a bit, you know, a bit less of opacity. But anyways, you know what, guys? I'm going to offer you for free these 2 raw files so you can see for yourself the power of the Sony A7R. That's a big file. It's a 7,360 pixels by 4,912. That is a 36 million pixel file. And I'm going to give you this clouds too. And so you can, you know, make this beautiful, beautiful Paris by night photo by yourself. Voila, let's get back to me and hope you like this. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. I'm very excited because I have a new release. This time it's not by me, it's by my friend Eric Geisler, who is a 2-time Emmy Award winner in Hollywood. He worked on many Hollywood films and very high-end commercial. The guy is a genius on 3D and After Effects. He practically invented the concept of 3D and special effects back in 1912. No, I'm just kidding. He's much younger than that, but he's a really cool guy. And I asked him to do some special After Effects tutorials for photographers like us to bring our photos to life. You can see here some of the animation. It's really cool stuff. And let me present to you Eric, who is going to explain you what you're going to learn in these tutorials. Just before I introduce Eric, I just want to let you know that we have a special release price for this course, Animating Still Photography, of $50 instead of $97, valid for 5 days only, and that is May 6, until May 6. So you have to use the code 4animation to use it. The way you do that is just you click on direct download, and here you enter 4animation, and you update the cart, and instead of paying $97, you'll pay $50, and that's valid until the 6th of May. Over to you, Eric.
My name is Eric, and in this course, I'm going to show you how to animate still photographs. Now, what that means is turning a still photograph into a beautiful moving image that mimics motion picture cinematography. I'm going to show you some very simple techniques that will allow you to take an image that looks like this and turn it into a moving image sequence like this. We're going to cover some basics on perspective and how to use the illusion of motion to trick the eye. Now, these techniques are very simple to learn and can be applied to a wide range of photography. Moreover, they give you a great set of tools to take your photography to the next level by showcasing your work in very interesting, unique ways. So without further ado, let's get started.
Alright guys, I hope you like this tutorial. It's a pretty cool effect, and I hope you do check out Eric Geisler tutorial. Really cool stuff on how to bring to life your photos. Goodbye and au revoir.